and San Francisco 49ers.
Exactly what everyone wanted, by the way.
I disagree with that.
Yes.
Anyway,
Everybody, everybody wanted Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl.
I have my own things to say about that, but I'll leave that. Anyway, this is a rematch of the 2020 Super Bowl, where Kansas City won it, but it's all about this year. We're talking about this year. So the Chiefs, they went 11-6 in the regular season, right, earning the AFC's 3 seed, making it all the way to the Super Bowl for the second time in 4 years, I believe. The Niners earned the 1 seed in the NFC, going 12-5.
Third time in 4 years, by the way. But
Third
yeah,
time in 4 years, the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, they did make it the first year Tom
and the
Brady was in
last game.
Tampa. Yes. Jake, what do you make of the Chiefs this year? What is your synopsis of how their season has gone?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs definitely got a little downgrade without Tyreek Hill, but I think the Kansas City Chiefs are still a very good team. That defense is still very good, and they still got some outstanding players on the offense. They still got Patrick Mahomes, they still got Travis Kelce. Even though they lost Tyreek Hill, people are stepping up. You can talk about Isaiah Pacheco. You can talk about Isaiah Pacheco a lot. He's been stepping up as well a lot this postseason. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to Super Bowl weekend.
Evan, synopsis on the Chiefs.
Yeah, so Pacheco is obviously a good one, but I don't think he made the Chiefs. I think he had a good year all year long, and the Chiefs were struggling all year long. I think Patrick Mahomes is still an elite quarterback, but the Chiefs weren't doing so good. I mean, it's funny to say 11-6 is not doing so well, but if you watch the Chiefs, a lot of those they squeak by. You get killed by the Raiders at home of all teams. You had the Mahomes meltdown against Buffalo. I even said it. I said for sure the Chiefs, not only the Super Bowl, for sure the Chiefs would not make the championship game. Well, I was wrong. So it's good to admit when you're wrong. But with the players especially, I think you got to look at what was the problem. The defense was solid too. The problem was the receiving core. So one who kind of made a different, Rashee Rice, was that everyone would say all the receivers are trash, but Rashee Rice, because it's true, Rashee Rice had almost 1,000 yards receiving this year. He had 10 or 7 touchdown catches. So he had a decent year and he came up somewhat kind of clutch sometimes throughout the year. But then they had nobody else. But the real difference maker has been Travis Kelce. It's a boring pick, but it's true. You look at his playoff numbers, he's outshined everyone. In Buffalo, who's going to catch the ball? It's been Travis Kelce. In Baltimore, who's going to catch the ball? It's been Travis Kelce. He's been the real difference maker of any player of why the Chiefs have made it this far.
All right, so the Chiefs, we know them as this amazing offense, right? Obviously, you have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, and it's really hard to bet against him. But for years, we've thought of the Chiefs that are, this team is going to score 30, 40 points a game and, win these games, 45-31 or something like that. And that just hasn't been the case this year. You, Evan touched on this. You look at the Chiefs this year, and the offense struggled at times, like mightily. Kadarius Toney had a bunch of drops, and speaking of drops, just the whole receiving core did. Obviously, Travis Kelce is all reliable. Rashee Rice stepped up. Pacheco even stepped up in the passing game as well as the running game. The defense has been really solid this year, better than I thought it would be. Um, and obviously, Chris Jones is a monster on the defensive line, and obviously anchoring that defense. And then with the Niners, Jake, what do you think about how the Niners have looked this year?
Yeah, San Francisco is obviously a good team too. They made it this far. I think that Brock Purdy, I don't know what happened with Jimmy Garoppolo. Why? I don't know. Because I think Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt earlier in the season. He just never got the starting job back in San Francisco. And Brock Purdy's made all of it ever since. I mean, and then you got Christian McCaffrey, who's always been an
Jake,
elite running back.
in 2022, by the way, Jimmy G's been on the Raiders this year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
assume you meant that. I just for our viewers, but
Yeah, I meant that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, he lost the starting job in 2022, and Brock Purdy's had it ever since. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
Or go ahead.
Evan,
Yeah.
synopsis on the 49ers.
Yeah, so the 49ers look like a team that's kind of in trouble at least in my eyes. We'll save like predictions and stuff for next week. I don't know for sure who exactly I want. But I mean, the reason I say that is who are they centered around all year long? Christian McCaffrey. I think he had a streak of like 18 straight games with getting a touchdown.
I believe so.
To me, that's MVP worthy. That's another discussion too. But anyways, it hasn't been the Christian McCaffrey show in the playoffs so far. Yes, I know he picked it up later in the game versus the Lions, but in the fourth quarter, he had like 39 rushing yards. So they're getting it done different ways. But honestly, you watch either the Packers or the Lions game where they face them. It's been the Lions making mistakes and the Packers making mistakes. Obviously, the late field goal miss in the Green Bay game. And then last week, just a plethora of mistakes by the Lions. Yes, of course, credit to Brock Purdy. He's made plays. He's game managed. He's a lot like Jimmy Garoppolo, like Jake was talking about. But Christian McCaffrey was the focal point of this team all throughout the regular season. He has not been in the postseason. So it's going to be interesting to see if they go back to that against the Chiefs or if they try to really get, I don't know, maybe more receivers involved.
All right, so the 49ers this year, they look to be in trouble during the three-game losing streak they had earlier in the season. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
They lost to the Browns, Bengals, and I can't remember who else. But that's
Yeah,
beside
that was when they had a billion people injured and it was just Purdy out there. Yeah, I remember that.
correct, correct. The San Francisco offense obviously has a lot of firepower, right? With Purdy leading the range, you have Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk on the outside, and who could forget arguably the best tight end in football, George Kittle. Um, Brock Purdy definitely has a lot of weapons surrounding him. And then as for the defense, which was thought of as one of the best units in football, obviously led by linebacker Fred Warner, is going to, I think, is going to have a huge challenge stopping Travis Kelce in the Super Bowl. All right, so key players, Jake, who do you have your eye on for both the Chiefs and the 49ers on next Sunday?
I'm looking at running backs. I'm looking at how running backs can change the game. How CMC for San Francisco and then Isaiah Pacheco for Kansas City. Because I think this is going to be a real running game instead of a passing game.
Evan?
Yeah, so for the Chiefs, I have my eye on Mark, or how do you say it? Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right? On the Chiefs.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Right. So he had the game clinching catch a week ago against Baltimore. It was, I forget if it was second or third down, and he had a deep pass where he went up and got it. Where earlier in the regular season, he wasn't making those plays. He actually had a lot of drops. So you have Rice, you have Travis Kelce. In the Super Bowl, it's a big time game. There's probably going to be a lot of points scored in this game. Who's that one more player that can make a play? Maybe it will be him. And on the defense, I don't have an exact player for the 49ers, but it's got to be the secondary. That's going to be the matchup because the Chiefs have clearly turned it on, and to beat Kansas City, you gotta at least minimize damage there. So I would go with the Niners secondary, biggest to watch.
And
All right.
I also want to throw out one more position group that I'll be looking at. The tight ends. Which secondary can stop which tight end? Can the 49ers secondary stop Travis Kelce? Can the Chiefs secondary stop George Kittle? That'd be interesting to see.
All right. So for me, the key player for Kansas City is Travis Kelce, right? Travis is like I referred to him as all reliable. He actually passed Jerry Rice for the most I believe receptions in NFL playoff history. So congratulations to him. Um, him and Patrick Mahomes seem to have an unrivaled connection, just a bunch of chemistry between those two. The, Patrick and Travis are up there with the likes of Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski in terms of playoff touchdowns, which is completely absurd.
I heard
And
something
then
that Travis Kelce, maybe it was yards, past like Jerry Rice and playoff yards. That's pretty remarkable. Think about Jerry Rice.
playoff yards, playoff catches, something like that. I know he passed Jerry Rice, and anytime you pass Jerry Rice on any list, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
And then for the Niners, I have linebacker Dre Greenlaw. This guy had the game sealing pick against the Packers. Had a pretty good game against the Lions, although say what you want, but he will be mostly in charge of stopping Travis Kelce over the middle of the field. Tight ends love to run over the middle of the field, so we will
Mm.
see can the Niners defense stop Travis Kelce? And if they do, I think the Niners have a great shot to win this game.
So I just have one more question for y'all. It's not really about the game, but I just have one more question for y'all. If the Kansas City Chiefs win this game, do y'all think Travis Kelce will propose to Taylor Swift? I
All
say
right.
yes.
All right. Let me start with that. Um, if that happens, then I will 100% believe the NFL is scripted. Um, I think the NFL had something planned until Travis Kelce started dating Taylor Swift about midway through the season, I believe, and then they switched it up. And if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl and Travis Kelce proposes with Taylor Swift, I will 150% believe the NFL is scripted. Evan?
I don't want to get into predictions because I've been wrong about so much about the Chiefs, like I said at the beginning. So if this happens, we'll for sure PWTB will for sure save this as a topic after the Super Bowl if it happens. Now for now, and by the way, we did do a poll on this. Go check that out, PWTB for life on Instagram. I'm it's you know what it would be funny is if they weren't planning on doing it, but now with all the talk and all the I know the talk about them endorsing Biden or whatever because Travis Kelce did an ad for Pfizer and all that stuff that's being, if they weren't planning on doing any of this, but now they decide to do it. And then everyone would think it's rigged and scripted, even though that's been proven time and time again. Everyone said the Bills were going to win the Super Bowl because Josh Allen was closest to the stadium in a graphic, and everyone said the Ravens were going to win a Super Bowl because there was purple in the Super Bowl logo or for
Can I just say,
but
can I just say something that Taylor Swift does have an album or song or something that has to do with the color purple, so that might have something to do with it.
Her
on
dress is
to the
purple.
next conspiracy.
Dress,
Yep, yep.
purple
Her
dress.
dress, her dress is purple that she wears in the song back in December.
So it's just a whole bunch of theories everywhere, and I don't know which one is right and which one is wrong. But if this definitely happens and Travis Kelce proposes, I will believe the NFL is 150% scripted.
150%. Dang.
Ow.